Hello, everybody. I'm actually showing you my face while we're working on this project together to kind of make it feel a little bit more like an actual lecture where I was in the room with you. Although for most of this, I'm going to be looking down and away from the video camera, but we'll give this a try. So I've given you an assignment to do a case study analysis for the tactical decision-making unit. And this isn't something that I've tried before in this class, so we'll just see how it goes together. What I want to do here is show you how to approach a case study in general by using this example, which is not the same example as your assignment. And then if I teach you properly, you'll be able to apply the techniques that I go through to actually do an analysis on a different case. The reason that I'm doing this is because these case studies are a very important part of a master's level management education. It's pretty, famous, the Harvard case study method, and there are a number of other business schools which rely entirely on case studies. When I went to business school, it was maybe a third case studies and 2/3 regular coursework, which I think is probably a good mix. And so, here we are as undergraduates. I just want to kind of, let you see what life is like in grad school and see how you do. So the thing about case studies is that they are really they're long, and it's kind of hard to pick through and pick out the important information. You'll notice that I have Excel open over here, and I've got the case open over here in a program which is not the preview. It's a different program called Highlights, which is it's a Mac program, which allows me to go through and highlight the important information in the case. What I would recommend that you do when you use a case study, or when you try to do a case study, is to print out the case on pieces of paper so that you can highlight what you need to pay attention to. So, how do we approach a case study? Well, first of all, I've got Excel open over here because, as you can imagine, this will require some analysis. And I'm going to also use Excel to kind of take notes and organize my thoughts as well. What you should do probably is have Excel open on your computer and have the case printed out. So the first thing you want to do, here I'll write it down, is skim the case. Okay, so you just want to kind of look through it and take a look at the title, and then skim down and see how long it is, and kind of try to get a sense for what they want you to do, right? So for this one, the title is Costs for Decision Making, an instructional case of relevant cost and differential analysis of cost reduction alternatives. And so if we just kind of quickly look at the first couple of sentences, we see that this is based on a real-life project and takes place at 2010 in the New York City headquarters for the U.S. operations of AC Global, which is a very, very thinly disguised reference to AIG. So that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at cost reduction alternatives for a multinational insurance company. So the next thing, right, we've kind of gotten the lay of the land. The next thing you want to do is just skim through and just kind of estimate how many pages it is, how long it is. So let's see, 3. So there's 4 case pages of the actual case, and then we get to the questions. So let's put off. So step 2 is look at the case questions. Okay, so the questions are going to look a lot like a homework problem. Right, this is just like the stuff you've been doing for Module 6 for the differential analysis or tactical decision making. So we want to know what are the relevant costs for these 3 alternatives they're looking at, and what are some non-financial considerations, just kind of laying out the choices. And then actually, you know what, let's take note on what the choices are, right? So 3 choices are offshoring and relocating functions and automating functions. Okay, so these are what we're looking at. Okay. And then you are asked to do an analysis for each of these alternatives. So for the offshoring analysis, and then there's some numbers involved, right? So let's just kind of skim it again. So we're skimming the questions. So we are asked to do some specific things for the analysis of offshoring. And then we are asked to do some specific things for the alternative of electronic processing, which actually is what they're referring to over here as automating functions. And then we are asked to do some specific analyses based on relocations. And then we are asked to provide recommendations. Okay, so let's take another note over here, and we'll say automating functions is also going to be called electronic processing. Okay, so that's the first thing. So step 1 is skimming the case, and then step 2 is just looking at the case questions. So that's all oriented towards getting a lay of the land. Okay, so that's the first thing that you do when you are trying to dissect a case or do anything. Right, I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to keep these as short as I can, and I'm going to label these videos with what specific procedure I'm having you learn how to do. So hopefully you'll be able to take these videos and apply them to the other case once we've gone through sort of a demonstration of how it works with this case. Okay.